So we have some breaking news. Andrew Scheer is done as Conservative Party leader. He's resigning as Conservative Party leader. And the reason of the resignation is because he used his own party's money to fund his own children's private school education. It's basically stealing from his own party, stealing from the Conservative Party without any sort of approval to pay for his own children's private school education. It's utterly shameful, and there was no way forward but for him to resign. This is all really interesting because a lot of people, myself included, have said that Andrew Scheer was going to go sooner or later, that the election had demonstrated that Scheer could not build a broad enough coalition to actually form a government in the current political context, and that the Conservatives need a new leader that has a better chance of doing so, that can reach out to moderates, that can reach out to those people who maybe would be open to some conservative policies, but not social conservative policies. And I felt that the Conservative Convention next spring would not give him a mandate to stay on, and he would be finished at that point. Maybe he would resign before, but at the end of the day, the convention would finish him off. But I did not expect him to go down for this. This is really troubling. It's really quite shocking that a party leader would basically misappropriate his own party's money to pay for his own personal benefit. It's really, really troubling because that money is supposed to be used to help his party succeed. That money is supposed to be used to help promote conservative policy and to help conservative politicians and activists promote their vision across the country. That money shouldn't be used to pay for the private school education of one particular leader of the party. And let's also remember, Andrew Scheer, as leader of the opposition, made well over $200,000 a year. This is not a poor man. This is not a man, taking a massive pay cut to do this job. This is not a person that would be destitute if the party didn't help cover his expenses. This is a person who was making a ton of money and could afford to pay for these sorts of educations. And if not, then he has the option of using the public school system that millions upon millions of Canadians use. And so it was really, really sad to see, frankly. Because again, I thought Scheer was going to go down. I thought Scheer should go down. But to see it happen like this really, really troubles me. That one of our major political leaders would do something so abhorrent, do something so troubling, do something so violating of his own party members. Whatever you think of conservatives, on my channel, not a lot of my viewers are conservative supporters. But whatever you think of conservative party members, they deserved better than that. They deserve to have a leader that respects their donations, that respects their fundraising, that respects their desire to have that money used to, political ends and not to personally enrich the party leader. They deserve better than that. And I have to say, guys, I found the tributes in the House of Commons really weird this afternoon. Andrew Scheer announced his resignation, and all of the party leaders, some of his own people, gave these very nice speeches about the toll of public life, about how they're all in it together, about how they all understand the struggle, and even though they disagree, that, at the end of the day, they are sort of brothers and sisters in arms in that very unique and high-stress job. Now, that sort of speech would be appropriate if Scheer was just resigning because he didn't feel his party wanted him anymore. And a lot of politicians would feel bad for him in that way and offer that tribute, whether or not they agreed with his policies or his personal views. But given what we know, and given that news broke as per Global before those speeches, I find it really weird that they still took that tone. Again, this isn't a man resigning because, the party is divided with him as leader, and for the good of the party, he's going to close the door on his own tenure and open the door for a new leader that can bring them forward. Honorable move to make. Tom Mulcair, for instance, didn't do that, and it hurt the NDP. But the thing is, he resigned because he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and there's no honor in that. There's no honor in that at all. And I have to wonder that even Scheer wanting to stay on as leader of the opposition until a new Conservative Party leader is selected may not really be feasible in my view. Again, if he was resigning to step aside for a new person, then it makes perfect sense for him to stay on as interim leader because, he's already done the job. He's able to do it for another few months, and the new person selected can, move forward and then take over from him in the spring. And, that's perfectly reasonable. But here, he stole from his own party. He violated the trust of his own party. He violated their own financial records. And if I'm a conservative, I don't think I'm even comfortable with this man staying on an interim basis, given the nature of the reason he resigned. So this story is still developing, guys. There's still going to be a lot of news here. Don't be surprised, frankly, if Scheer ends up fully resigning, even resigning from his interim post sooner than later, given the explosiveness of the allegations. And don't be surprised if some of the laudatory remarks that Scheer get pulled back a little bit as the politicians start to realize why this man stepped aside. And of course, in the coming days and weeks, we're going to move to discussions about who might replace Andrew Scheer, whether it's Peter McKay or Rona Ambrose or John Baird. We'll have those discussions. But right now, this is still a developing story. We'll keep an eye on it. Stay tuned for more.